Thanks for being with us on Tissue World News. We're here at the conference, Tissue World in Milan, interviewing the speakers from across our program. And the conference program this year was absolutely packed with research, with information regarding technical details across the tissue industry, and a really comprehensive program. Some excellent speakers, like my next guest for us today, Roberto Berardi, who's the chairman of the European Tissue Symposium in Italy here. This is a local game for you, sir, not too far from home. You have a fantastic presentation yesterday, but before we go there, let me ask you a little bit about the European Tissue Symposium.
Yes.
How does it fit in with Tissue World, sir?
Well, European Tissue Symposium is the association of the European tissue producers. We represent about 90% of the European capacity. What we do is that we represent the interest of the industry when we discuss, for example, the rules of the game with the European regulators. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of a classical role of European Tissue Symposium. However, in the last years, we have focused more and more towards promoting the advantages of tissue products versus other alternatives. For example, in drying your hands after you have properly washed them.
Well, I understand that your presentation yesterday was about paper is better than air.
Yes.
When it comes to drying your hands. And
yes.
I'm a bit fastidious when it comes to that. I'm not very fond of those hot air dryers.
Yeah.
I'm a tissue man through and through, as you are.
Yeah.
But the research and the studies that you do promoting this stuff to end consumer is exactly what you were talking about yesterday. Your paper yesterday was about the benefits of drying your hands on paper.
Absolutely.
Rather than air. So you did a big study on this, sir?
Not one, many. Because initially we focused our studies on the hygiene of the hands themselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, after I've dried my hands, how many residual bacteria remain on my hands? And we have discovered through these studies that actually drying them with air is increasing the number of bacteria that are on your hands.
Wow.
Increasing because, they are captured from everywhere and projected through the air on your hands. Instead, drying them with paper is actually dramatically reducing the number of bacteria on your hands because they are absorbed by the paper. So the extraordinary absorption properties of paper are what makes the difference. But then we have also analyzed in other studies what happens to the surfaces of the washroom, so how clean they are depending on the hard drying method used. And finally, the studies I have presented yesterday, which are the most recent, are about the quality of the air.
Right.
So there is any difference in the quality of the air depending on the hair drying system used? And the answer is definitely. There is a factor of 170 times better the air in a washroom where paper towels are used versus where jetter dryers in particular, because jetter dryers are effective, they do dry your hands, but they spread at high velocity micro droplets everywhere, including what you inhale while you are in the washroom. So for us this was pretty important. And then we have combined these with other studies about user preference to see what is the actual preference of the people that goes to the washroom. Do they prefer to use paper or do they prefer to use air?
What did you discover?
The biggest study was done at ISA Interclean last year, and 4,000 behaviors were observed, and we observed that 90% of the people prefer to use paper. Only 12% prefer to use air. So 90, 12 doesn't make 100, it makes 1 or 2. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, because part of those who are using air, then they use paper in order to refine the job.
To actually dry their hands.
Properly dried hands. Yeah. And this is very positive for us because there is a convergence of users' preference and the science. So they go the same way. The only problem is that we are not yet so good at making this message widespread. And this, of Tissue World, is an excellent occasion for informing all the participants, the companies, so that they contribute to spreading this message.
Fantastic. And thank you indeed for sharing that message yesterday. I'm happy to shake your hand because I know you dried them on paper.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Roberto.
Thank you.
Grazie mille.
Thank you.